Ladies and gentlemen, believe it or not, we are starting the home stretch of the high school boys golf season. And the same goes for the first ever State Champs Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year contest. The most exciting time of the competition starts now, and this award would not be possible without Tour Edge Golf. See for yourself why over 150 PGA Tour players have chosen to play Tour Edge, the pound-for-pound leader in golf club innovation and performance. Check out all of it at touredge.com. I'm Lorne Plant. All season long, we've been joined by Michigan Golf Live's executive producer and host, Bill Hobson. This has got to be a busy time for you, my friend.
It is. And, you mentioned Tour Edge. As you and I speak over in Benton Harbor, the PGA Tour seniors, the champions, are competing, and you'll see Tour Edge players throughout that field. So it is a busy time. The weather's starting occasionally to turn in our favor. And for pretty much the next 4 weeks, I'll just be on the road shooting TV shows and trying to keep up on what's happening in the world of high school golf. Some good stuff, some really good scores being posted.
Yeah, and for those of you watching, Bill is not on Mars or anything of that nature. We have been dealing with the weather, and so, we are working to make sure his image is as clear as possible, but we see him here, and we wanted to make sure that this segment went on so that we could work in his schedule and our schedule so we can get out to you, and let's get to it. No changes in this week's Top 10, but next week we are going to be freezing our Top 10. So the final changes, if any, will take place next week. The week of June 6th, we'll announce our Final Four, and the 2022 Tour Edge Boys Golfer of the Year will be announced the week of June 13th after the state finals. Big-time golf to be played before that, and last week, not under the greatest of conditions, but the Oakland County Division I Championship took place at Twin Lakes Golf Club in Oakland Township. 3 golfers from the top 10 and some watch list guys were competing in that. And this is what you would really categorize as a big game performance when you're talking about a county championship. And when you look at, and that's part of the criteria, which you could see at our voting page at statechampsnetwork.com. Now, 2 juniors on our list were going at it. And at the end of the day, they were actually sharing medalist honors, which was pretty impressive. You've seen some of the footage there, Bill. Let's start with your thoughts on Ryan O'Rourke from Walled Lake North.
Yeah, this young man has got some game. He is long, he's lanky, and he's got some speed that he generates. I'm jealous of the speed that these young guys can generate through the ball. I'm also reminded, Lauren, that as State Champs sends out its video crews, I keep waiting to see highlights of guys just wearing shorts and a golf shirt. Everybody out there is dressed up in multiple layers, and we still haven't really seen that at all yet. So to say that and to realize that they're still competing in less than ideal conditions, and to see O'Rourke go out and shoot a 68, tie for medalist with the other player that we'll talk about here in a moment or two, is pretty impressive. And he's also, with 25 rounds in the season, he's ranked 4th in the state overall. And so one of the questions that I was asked just a few minutes before you and I started chatting together is who do I see as maybe winning this whole thing? And the unknown factor is how well a player turns out his home crowd, his constituency for the voting. So I don't know how that's going for Ryan. I don't know how it's going for Lorenzo Pannelli. We'll talk about next. But both of these guys are golfing their ball really, really well. I was very impressed by Ryan's iron play, and his putter, at least in the highlights I saw, was really, really good.
Yeah, it was outstanding. And speaking of the vote, our leading vote getter in this competition, great segue, is the junior from Brother Rice, Lorenzo Pannelli. His fan base has been coming strong. He's got well over 16,000 votes right now, and far and away the leader. But this is a guy who's backing it up. It's funny. He has a freshman brother, Leandro, who has been pushing him. And I know that we've kind of heard from some of the Rice contingent earlier in the year, and they were really hoping they can get Leandro in the race too. But he'll be there at some point because he's not far out of that top 20, I believe. But right now, Lorenzo playing great and had another strong outing.
Yeah, and whenever I get to see highlights of these players, I tend in my mind to transpose them over to a comparative figure on the PGA Tour. So for Ryan O'Rourke, I saw some similarities to Will Zalatoris, who was in the playoff at the PGA
Mm.
Championship. When I look at Lorenzo Pannelli's highlights, a shorter, stockier, strong young player. Kind of reminds me a bit of Zach Johnson. There's probably some other more, I don't know, more contemporary guys that are in contention more often. But it's a really solid swing, even though he didn't have his best day ever. He somehow went out and scraped around a 68 at the Oakland County match, and comes in ranked sixth in the state. And the sign of a fantastic competitor is what you can do on a day when not everything is clicking. For a lot of us amateur golfers, you give us a day when we're not clicking, and that score is going to start with an 8, not a 6. And to see how he is able to kind of make do and overcome, it's pretty darn impressive as you head into the postseason where you don't know what kind of weather you're going to get. You don't know how you're going to be feeling on any given day. And if you have the ability to recover from a wayward shot every now and then, it will serve you very, very well.
Absolutely, and the competition is only going to get steeper as we get into regionals and everything starting just next week. So things are really going to ramp up here for the golfers here in the state of Michigan. Before we go, I just want to read a quick email because I like doing this, and it's great because the proud fathers always reach out to us.
I got one as well, so I'll do mine after you do yours.
Okay, yeah. All right. So James Harmeson is his family is out of Traverse City, and his son plays for Traverse City Central High School. Great golf up there in Traverse City. Shea Harmon, he's 35, individually ranked right now. He's number 35. But he wanted to point out and wanted to recommend his son. His senior year has been highlighted by leading his team. They're currently the Division II number 1 team in their division. Traverse City Central is as a group, and he was top medalist at an event back in April. He's had 4 top medalists out of his 12 rounds. He's had 12 events. He's had 8 top 5 finishes and 11 out of 12 top 10 finishes. And he was, tied for 5th, 6th, and 4th at some various invites, some big ones, big performances. So he's laying it all out, but he did want to say he thanks us for promoting high school athletics, and we appreciate you for writing in. You have to love, when they're reaching out and they want to, tout their son, and I'm sure anybody that they feel is qualified. And Traverse City, I mean, come on, some of the most beautiful golf courses anywhere.
I was just there last week, and a couple of things jumped out at me from that email. One, they've only played 12 matches. And being up north has been a tough spring for all the players up there, so kudos. And number 2, this is year 1 of this whole concept. I cannot wait to see how it builds in the coming years as more and more golfers and golf parents and coaches become aware of what State Champs is doing. The message that I got this week was from somebody who said, I'm surprised you guys, he said, I watch all of the conversations you and Lorne have, and I can't figure out why you never talk about this particular player. I won't say the name of the player. Okay. And I said, well, it's because that player has decided not to play high school golf this year, and we have talked about him on 2 occasions. Mm-hmm. So, but thank you for paying attention and for reaching out. Just know that there are a lot of really good players in the state. And unless they step forward or their representation steps forward, we're probably not going to have them in the mix. It's not as easy as you think to know what everybody's doing all over this map we all carry around with us everywhere we go. So appreciate everybody who reaches out.
Well, and the wonderful thing is, and I think for high school golf fans, that MHSA golf app that I Want to Maker is the maker of that app is really outstanding. And I will say, it's all laid out there. It's got every round that these guys have played, where they finished. It usually breaks them down per 9. And they've got them all ranked out there, and it shows how many rounds of golf they played. And our guys are all within the top kind of 13, and we do have a criteria, and some of what's not recognized in their particular rankings might be what we would consider the most competitive balance or tougher courses, things of that nature that will factor into the big game performance part of our formula when we tabulate a champion. But invariably, that is a great way to look at who is playing, who individually and as teams. Shout out to Skyline. They've been pretty much the number one team in the state pretty much all season long. They've got several guys, including Luann Jones, who is in our top 10, and he has really been shooting up the rankings. But they've got 3 or 4 guys that, if we were doing a top 15, would be in that group. So shout out to them. But we encourage you to vote for your favorite candidate. StateChampsNetwork.com is the website. You'll see a banner for the Tour Edge Golfer of the Year contest. Click on that. It'll take you over there and vote for your guy now. Again, next week we'll freeze our top 10. There could be one more change or two that will be happening, but we'll see. And we'll talk to you next week. All right, Bill?
Yeah, I hope these guys keep playing well. I hope they get some good weather in which to play. And we'll look forward to seeing how this top 10 list rounds into shape. And then we'll really see how each golfer turns out the votes from his or her from his community.
Absolutely. And one more, just so you understand, the leading vote getters automatically in the Final Four. I can say that with conviction that it's going to be Lorenzo just based on where we're at right now. However, when we are getting down, because we are going to select the other 3, we're going to go through our criteria, but we also are going to look and take a look at, let's say some guys are, right on the edge of getting into that Final Four. We'll say, well, did the community come out and vote for those guys? Let's kind of compare where they're at. And if there's one guy whose heads or tails, been receiving a lot more support, that could sway our decision. Not saying it will, but it could. So it's important to get out there and vote for your guy if he's in the top 10, and I'm sure he would appreciate that. So for Bill Hobson, I'm Lorne Plant. That's it for this week's update in our State Champs Michigan High School Boys Golfer of the Year race presented by Tour Edge. We'll see you next week, and good luck in regionals.